Hey friends, what is up? My name is Katie, and thanks for stopping by my YouTube. Hey guys, what is up? My name is Katie, and thanks for stopping by my. I can't talk. I can't talk. Hey guys, what is up? My name is Katie, and thanks for stopping by my YouTube channel. This is going to be my first official YouTube video, which I'm super excited about. I had the idea a couple weeks ago that I wanted to start doing something like this, and now one selfie ring light, one microphone, and one iPhone tripod stand later, here we are. So, super pumped about what's to come, and I hope that you'll enjoy. Let's get started. So, like I said, I'm super excited that y'all are here. I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of breakdown of what I have planned for my channel, which basically come down to three main things. The three basically most important things in my life that control my life are gut health, which those of y'all who follow me on Instagram know that gut health has been a major part of my life since I was 3 days old, and especially in the past almost 3 years, it's really escalated. Then the second thing is travel tips, travel tricks, and just travel adventures like vlogging in general. I always love an adventure. I love traveling. I've been to many different places, and I have GoPro footage from a lot of it, so I may just be uploading GoPro vlogs from years ago like I did last week, where I uploaded a video of my friend and I when we went through Costa Rica and Nicaragua in 2016. And the final thing is, you guessed it, scuba diving. So mostly scuba diving vlogs, scuba diving equipment reviews, stuff like that, just to help you maybe save a dime or to help you know the different options out there when you are looking to buy a regulator or a light or anything like that. So without further ado, let's get started. So this first video is going to be part one of a 3-part series introducing y'all to my gut health journey from literally the day that I was born pretty much up until now as a 24-year-old. So the first part is just going to be the basic introduction of, what happened my first 21 years of life, the things I struggled with, and then how I was finally diagnosed with everything. Part 2 is going to be about life 2.5 years after being diagnosed with everything and having surgery. And then part 3 is going to be about traveling while having extreme food allergies. So let's get started on the first part. So part 1 of this is, like I said, just introducing y'all to what the heck I'm talking about when I say my gut health journey. My trying times, my struggles, all the stuff I went through. Just gonna share it with y'all, and my goal hopefully is to, if there's someone out there who's also struggling or in pain every day or don't know why certain foods make their gut do this, that, or the other, hopefully this can answer some questions or spark conversations. You're welcome to message me on any platform. Instagram is probably the easiest, which I'll link my Instagram handle right here so you can go find me. And I'll be happy to have all of the TMI conversations with y'all. Speaking of that, warning, this video will be TMI. Just like, no doubt. For those of y'all who really know me, I am an open book. I do not hold anything back. I'm not ashamed of anything. And if I were to hold stuff like this back, then people won't be able to relate, and then there's no point in this video. So we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty stuff. We're going to be talking about bowel movements, not the whole time, but just so you know, may get a little TMI.
Just thought I'd warn you.
So, yeah. So, once upon a time, I was born. I was a cute little happy baby. Everyone was super excited and happy that I was here until day 3. Day 3, my parents woke up to a constipated newborn, which I didn't even know existed until my parents told me that it started when I was 3 days old. So, 3 days old, I was constipated. No one knew how, no one knew why. But it happened, and my parents ultimately decided to take me to my doctor to see what's going on and what they can do to help. My doctor ultimately put me on a specialized formula. I'm assuming a laxative-based formula, and I guess that helped somewhat, but it didn't fix the problem. That's the key here. Throughout this whole time until I was 21 years old with every doctor, no one really thought, I should say, to get to the root of why I was constipated every day of my life. They just wanted to give me another laxative to fix it. They just wanted to give me a short-term relief and not really get down into the nitty-gritty and figure out why. So, I was on that formula my whole babyhood, and then literally as far back as I can remember, anytime I had a bowel movement, it was an episode in my house. Everyone in my house knew when Katie was going to it was just me and my parents, but everyone in the house knew when Katie was going to the bathroom because Katie was screaming and crying and in so much pain. And so, you know, they just kept taking me to different doctors because they didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what else to do. Obviously, I was a kid. I didn't know what was going on. To me, being constipated was normal. Like, you know, it really didn't click with me until I was in my, you know, young teens that, this isn't normal. Like, you know, not everyone goes through this. Something's wrong. So, I kept going to gastroenterologists, different ones, and they kept just sending me home with a different style of laxative. Most of the time it was Miralax because Miralax worked when I took it. But it didn't fix the root of the problem. The fact that I still had to take it was the problem. I was still constipated for days at a time. Finally, fast forward through high school where things started to get worse pain-wise. I can't allude back to, you know, when I was a kid, if I had strangely bad abdominal pain or not, because I just really can't remember, because again, as far as I know, this was normal to me. You know, pain was normal until I was diagnosed with everything and, you know, started making changes and realizing, oh, like that daily pain that I had to be curled up in a ball in my bed wasn't normal. So I don't know if I was in this abdominal pain or if I had the abdominal pain as a child, but definitely in high school, it at least either came or started to get worse. So it was more mild in high school, especially compared to the end when I was 21, but I still had stomach aches all the time. I, you know, was curled up in a bed maybe once or twice a week just because my, you know, stomach hurt, which really it was my abdomen, my GI tract. Once I moved on to college, it just progressively got worse. I would literally, by the end, what would that be? By my senior year? No. My junior year, it really started to get worse. It got to the point where I would go to class, come back to my dorm, curl up in a ball in my bed until I had to go to the next class.
And then I curl up in a ball in my bed, take a nap, go to the next class, curl up in a ball in my bed, do homework, curl up in a ball in my bed, go to eat dinner.
Like, I had to take that time to just alleviate the pain and the stress from having so much abdominal pain. So progressively got worse, especially my junior year of college, and then the summer after my junior year, I actually went to South Africa for 3 months, and there is where a whole nother level started taking place. I first started realizing it whenever I discovered Brussels sprouts there. So I discovered them there, I tried them there for the first time, and I just like kept eating them, and a week later, I had to take a day off of work because not only was I extremely constipated, but it was messing with my stomach so much that I was throwing up. So literally in one day I was coming out of both ends, literally, and it wasn't the flu, it was just from my body's reaction to this food, and I like totally quit Brussels sprouts from then on. I realized why later, which I'll get to that. And then after that point, I started having sharp pains in my upper abdomen, kind of like on the bottom of my ribs. And that was just like a whole nother new pain. And this wasn't just like, you know, a pulsating, like cramping pain. It was a sharp stabbing pain. And I was like, what the heck? And it would happen like once a day, once every other day. And that just persisted. When I came home from South Africa and started fall of my senior year of college, again, as my abdominal pain did, it progressed and got worse. Instead of happening every other day, it would happen every day, or it would happen multiple times a day. It just got insane, and I got to the point where I couldn't handle it anymore. So my saving grace period was whenever I went home for Thanksgiving and went for my yearly women's exam with my gastroenterologist, who has been in my mom's life and my life literally since I was born. So we're just really close with her. She's an awesome lady. And after, you know, the whole appointment, she asked me, so how's everything else in life? And I was telling her, you know, how's school? I went to South Africa, all this fun stuff. And she's like, how is your constipation? Because she knew about my struggles growing up as a kid. And I told her, yeah, like it's just gotten really bad. And now I have this super sharp pain that like is more debilitating than my abdominal pain. And she recommended another gastroenterologist. And I was like, okay, yeah, you know, I mean, I trust her and all this stuff. But at that point, gastroenterologists were just like not a thing for me anymore, because I just didn't like them. They didn't solve the problem. They just gave me another laxative, and they never took my mom and I seriously. Made an appointment with this new gastroenterologist for whenever I was home for Christmas break. When we got there, the nurse practitioner came in, and my mom and I were there. We sat down and we basically told her the whole story, starting with 3 days old she was constipated, went through all these laxatives, all this other fun stuff. And now I have a new pain that I cannot handle whatsoever. And boy howdy, within 24 hours of that appointment, she had scheduled me, and I had gone through a soft tissue sonogram where they look at your 6 or 7 soft tissue organs with a sonogram and see what's happening with them. X-ray, endoscopy, and a colonoscopy. I did all 4 of those things within 24 hours of the appointment, which is insane. And it just really boosted my spirit. Oh my gosh, she's like doing something about this. Like, she's not just handing me another laxative. This is amazing. Turns out that the source of my new pain was I had a big old gallstone in my gallbladder and had to have a I had to have my gallbladder removed. There's a name of the surgery, I'll put it here whenever I Google it. But I basically had to have my gallbladder removed. And that was just the start of it. The colonoscopy, I had convinced myself that I had polyps in my colon because of the trauma that my colon had gone through. Colon totally clean. The endoscopy showed extreme GERD and extreme gastritis. So GERD is gastroesophageal reflux disease, and gastritis is the inflammation of your stomach lining. Super bad, which I didn't realize this was a problem before all of this, but my extreme gastritis and GERD was the reason why I was literally burping when I woke up and sat up in bed, or drank water, or burped after every meal. It was bad, but that was a main reason why. Everything was just sick. Another thing, I guess I should say, she did 5 things within 24 hours. We got blood work done there the day of the appointment. That blood work came back saying that I wasn't fully celiac disease, but she described it as I was literally the next best thing. My levels, you know, weren't 100% with celiac's, you know, levels of missing enzymes and stuff. But so that day that I found that out, I cut gluten cold turkey. Accidentally, I call them gluten episodes. I've had about 5 or 6 gluten episodes in the last 2.5 years. And they're bad. Not only did my body already not like gluten, but now that I don't eat it, I don't have much bacteria in my gut anymore that can properly digest gluten. So now when I eat it, the pain is even worse than it was before, and it sucks. And the only way to get rid of it is to sleep it off and then have a bowel movement, and then it slowly gets better. So my endoscopy showed extreme GERD and gastritis, which was ultimately fixed with a combination of medication, and I cut cold turkey carbonated beverages, which I did that for about a year. And then now I drink, the only carbonation that I'll drink is kombucha or ginger ale. Other than that, my doctor wanted me to have my gallstone removed immediately. That couldn't happen because the appointment was in late December. I had to go back to school early because I was an RA in school, and so I had to move back in a week or a little over a week before everyone else. So I had to go back to school. I couldn't have surgery. And so they knew that I was in Galveston, and in Galveston there's a hospital there, UTMB, and so they knew that they could just send me with paperwork, and if something happened, I would just rush to the hospital with the paperwork. Their biggest fear was because I was already in so much pain, and because the gallstone was so big, I think it was like 2.5 centimeters, that my gallbladder was just going to rupture one night, and it was going to be way worse than any, just regular extraction surgery. There were some questionable moments where I thought that I needed to go to the hospital, and shout out to my best friend Laura. She was there on standby in the middle of the night, when I really had those really bad episodes, and, we would take laps around the building to try and walk it off. I would just be laying on the floor crying. It was bad. But I made through it, and I made it to spring break, and I had the surgery, and it was awesome. Finally getting rid of that pain was amazing. Other than that, though, let me revert back to when I cut everything cold turkey. They officially diagnosed me with IBS-C, which is irritable bowel syndrome constipation. There's 3 different types of IBSs: IBS-C, IBS-D, you guessed it, diarrhea, and IBS, I think it's M. It's just a mix of both, but you have IBS. Having IBS comes with its own challenges. Plenty of people have IBS after 30. Having it before then, especially having it as a child, which is what my gastroenterologist and nurse practitioner have kind of concluded, that I have pretty much had it my whole life and that I was born with it. Super uncommon. So that is kind of why none of the other gastroenterologists really thought about it, was because it just doesn't ever really happen. Said with having IBS comes its own challenges, especially with your gut bacteria reacting to different foods. For some people, not all, one of those things is cruciferous vegetables. Cruciferous vegetables break down and give you the highest amount of hydrogen gas in your digestive system, aka gas. So that totally explains why I bloat like a giant air balloon, whenever I ate food. So that was one of the main reasons, was because, especially with the Brussels sprouts, bringing us back to the Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are a cruciferous vegetable, and that just eating a bag every other day was obviously not good. So that explains why the Brussels sprouts had such a bad reaction to the Brussels sprouts. Other than that, other cruciferous vegetables are broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, collard greens. There's a lot more that are of more rare vegetables. And when I cut cold turkey, I cut gluten, cruciferous vegetables, carbonated beverages, and dairy. I self-diagnosed that myself over the course of about 3 months. First, I just cut out lactose. However, I went back to school, I did buy a lactose-free ice cream, and I had a bad reaction to it. So I self-diagnosed myself. I may or may not be right, but it's worked so far, and it's been 2.5 years. I self-diagnosed as being whey intolerant, which whey is just another part of dairy, but that is something that I do actively avoid when I can. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, gluten, carbonation, cruciferous vegetables, and dairy are my 4 main things that I avoid, which are 4 common things in all food. So it was a struggle, especially cutting cold turkey. So basically, after cutting those 4 things, as well as having my gallbladder surgery, okay, let me come back to cutting the 4 things. Cutting the 4 things, my pain disappeared in 3 weeks. Not 100%, but I would say about 75% disappeared in 3 weeks. It was insane. I had no idea that this is what normal people feel like. I was so baffled. I was so happy. And it was just literally night and day. Like, I could go the whole day without being curled up on the bed. Who knew that normal people do that? I was so thankful to my doctor and especially the nurse practitioner who was the original one that we saw, you know, who took us seriously and had me signed up for all these appointments within 24 hours. It was a struggle because I did cut everything cold turkey right off the bat. And, you know, I'm in college. You know, my friends and I always went to Whataburger or went out to eat. For the first, I'd say 6 or 8 months, you know, whenever I looked at a menu, I'd sit there on my phone Googling, you know, does this have gluten? Does this have dairy? It was definitely a transition, but I am so happy I did it. So I hope you liked my first official video. I had so much fun making it. If you did like it, give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more videos on not only gut health, but travel tips, travel vlogs, and scuba diving vlogs and tips. I'm excited to share more with y'all, and hopefully this helps at least one person who's going through struggles with their gut. And like I said, if you need to reach out, feel free to. I'm always here to help. I don't have all the answers, but I can at least lead you to someone who does, or help you do research on things that will help you. So thank you again for watching my video, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your day.